Hello, everybody. I'm Inhee. Now, Rob Waring just made a fabulous presentation before, so I feel like I'm such an amateur who come from the countryside, but I'll do my best. I know, I'm sure I can make a better presentation in Korean, but this has to be in English. I teach English in Changsang High School. It's a local high school, but our school graded as a top link from the nationwide for Sunu, which is Korean SAT. I teach advanced reading, TAPS preparation, and NEET speaking and writing specifically. Probably I'll give you a head of what is NEET. Okay? The Ministry of Education of Korea has been developing NEET program since 2008. You may be surprised at how long they've been making effort to make a NEET. The National English Ability Test, such as NEET, is originally developed by Korean, and the government is very proud of that because they want to be independent from TOEFL or TOEIC speaking and writing test. NEET has 4 criteria to test on: listening, reading, and speaking and writing. And potentially, we say NEET is designed to substitute with the Korea SAT, which is a Sunu. So this time, I probably focus on how NEET and Sunu is related in each other. Okay. So NEET Speaking Level 2 consists of 4 tasks. One is to respond. One is to respond to situationally interrelated questions, which are very similar to IELTS speaking test. And second one is to make a description of multiple pictures in sequence. Third is to make a presentation based on various types of graph. And lastly, fourth is to present a solution on complicated issues on conversation or monologue dialogue. Let's look at the example. This is describe multiple pictures in sequence. These are the example from the government, and you see the reading passage and 6 pictures in sequence. So students are asked to make a storyline in consequence and in content manner, satisfied manner. When they make a story from 1 to 6, they have to follow verb tense and make a proper word and make a proper grammar structure to make a story. Now this is a NEET writing level 2. It's a very controlled writing task. Students are asked to write a descriptor on given subject, and students will be provided 3 key phrases they must use in their answers. There's also 1 short essay writing with a controlled format. Students will be provided 2 key phrases in order to present supporting ideas, 1 more topic sentence, and conclusion. Probably it's better to give an example to understand. They are given a topic. They have to choose either is a benefit or not to use a paper book. They have to choose their side on the advantage and disadvantage. Introduction is not given, so they have to make 1 sentence to provide a relevant introduction. And 2 topic sentences without supporting details. They have to fill it in. And the last, third one, they have to create 1 more topic sentence and supporting details and conclusion. So this is fairly controlled writing task, I would say. When you look at the TOEFL or the IELTS writing task, they are not given whatsoever. So students are very guided to write an essay, which is an easy one. Now, if you have a textbook from Compass Media, the NEET Navigator, can you look at the page number 9? Probably you will see the assessment in Korean, and I have to tell you in English format. In speaking contest, in speaking assessment, NEET seek task completion, discourse, and language use and pronunciation fluency. Now, note that there are 4 different items in speaking, so it is reasonable to say that each one might have a different criteria to be scored by. For example, if test takers respond to part 1 question, as you see on slide 3, they might not have to concern how multiple pictures are related to as they are already presented. So, therefore, the criteria of this course might not be relevant here. Here, right? Because it's already so. Now, every high school student in Korea takes the Korea SAT, Sunyoung. And if you don't mind, I will refer Korean SAT, Sunyoung, from now on to enter college. Sunyoung is designed to test students' listening, reading comprehension, and grammar knowledge. When the Ministry of Education presented the NEET officially for the first time this year, many of English teachers and parents were really puzzled. They thought it was new, but it wasn't really. Almost all testing materials were already embedded in Sunyoung, which we all have been focusing on. So today, I'm going to present how I have been teaching NEET preparation, speaking and writing to high school students. Since I work at high school, where the Ministry of Education closely monitors our curriculum, I try to make the best of our textbook with a minimal use of reference books. Before we talk about, let's see. So this is the textbook that I use in my high school. And usually this is given in listening session before they move on to reading passage. And they were asked to fill around the blanks while they are listening from the tape, such as librarian, returning, checks-in, or due, or the title. I believe these are the target languages they have to master in the lesson. But instead, I changed this format into NEET speaking and writing, and here's how. First, I elicit rough responses from students where this conversation might take place. Then ask them to identify who they are, what is their relationship. At this point, it's better let them talk rather than me being in the center. When the target answer or the like is presented, I ask each group to write down the description of the picture on the board. So let's see some of the results from the students. Now remember, the pictures they're seeing is this one. Two guys and one guy is having their awkward position and the other guy is sitting on the desk. And probably you've seen some of the books, but you never imagine how students imagine what they are or what they might like, okay? So responses are, the first one, the librarian is angry because the students try to steal the book. So the librarian scolds him, stating it's his fault, and he apologized to the librarian. I know the students made so many article errors, but their sequence is okay. Their storyline is okay, and they try to make the best out of the picture. So I gave them full mark, although there's some grammar errors. The second one is more interesting. A boy wants to buy a book in the bookstore. He picks up the book and he goes to the club. When he's about to pay for the book, he realizes that he has no money. So he must buy, but he must buy because it is a limited edition. So he asked the clerk if he can save it until return. Such a beautiful storyline. I know. But amazingly, I've never taught them how to write or to make a story. This is all done by group working, and each group has advanced students or the weak or the strong students so that they can make a balance in between. Right? The last one is my favorite. There are two people in a comic book retail store. A customer was chewing a gum while reading a book. Suddenly, he dropped the gum, and the gum stuck to the book. And it's an awkward sentence structure, but makes sense to us in Korean. A clerk found it, and he became embarrassed. I guess the customer is embarrassed, right? Rather than a clerk. A customer felt sorry for the clerk, probably sorry for the book. So, again, from the Rob, the sense of language using is a little unnatural, but they try to make a sense of it. So he promised to not refund, but pay the bill or, compensate, whatever. But while I am doing this, what I found out that they don't have ability to make a speech or to make a composition in English. They just don't know how to appropriately project what they know in Korean or in English. And me being as a teacher or me being as a facilitator is more easier for them to do it because I've been living in Korea for about 28 years, and then I moved back to Vancouver, and then studied there and working at a law firm as a paralegal for about 14 years, and I came back and to work as a teacher. So then I know the sense of using Korean and the sense of using English and what they feel difficulty, and for that I wanted to respect what they already know, right? All right. So Let's move on to synonym. Let me see. I lost. Right. Oh, then, after they make a composition, I forgot one thing. Then I ask students to make a conversation performance in front of the class. So it's the opposite way, right? When you induce speaking activities from students, you teach them some target languages or a sentence structure to follow by, then make a presentation. But then I ask them to write a composition first on the board, and I make a correction in grammar, then ask them to practice their dialogue performance and do this in front of the class. So basically, I do the opposite way from I learned from TESOL curriculum, right? Back in 2002, when I was taking TESOL program at Vancouver Community College and University of British Columbia, I did the exactly opposite way. I was teaching immigrants class, and I taught them target languages, sentence structure, grammar point, and language use first, and then let them perform. But since I teach Korean high school students, like Rob said, they have much better knowledge than you might imagine, vocabulary, grammar. So I try not to hurt their self-confidence, but then expose what they know in class. So then I make them composition first and make a correction, and then make them make a speech within the guided and strictly line of sentence structure. So they make a better performance, they feel better about them. You get it?